we're going to see the undefeated players now, and I bet Carmen and Mason are going to be starting it off with the 2 9-0 players tomorrow. So will be really fun to see what we see here.
Yeah. The other 2 undefeated players, Julian John and Enzo Burke, Grinding Breach and Boris Energy. So it could well be a Grinding Breach off tomorrow.
All right, you might not see that then, but we'll see.
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah.
All right. So we did see David do the kind of trick here where bobbled himself. I believe we already went, or this is still David's turn, so didn't like what he saw, essentially, is able to sack the land, surveil. But if you do like what you see, you get to draw the card, then sack up the land and surveil as well. So a lot of tricks you can do with bobble besides just turning on Metalcraft, besides just turning on Emery.
Very versatile card is Mishra's Bobble. And it's also a fun word to say, so.
Yeah.
Bobble, bobble, bobble.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things to be doing in all of Magic is just 2 bobbles and an Emery on turn 1. Turn 1 Emery is just my absolute favorite thing in Modern.
That's gross.
You know, I was trying to get turn 1 Emerys into play when you could play with Oko and Urza, Astrolabe, you know, like, whew. I loved it. I loved it. Everyone else probably hated it, but I loved it.
Those are the normal people.
Those are cards that you can play, that you could play, I should say.
Yeah, that took away some of your fun, but you know, it's all good. David Inglis, just deciding which land's gonna hit the board here.
Yeah, and while we're not seeing Bobble just like draw you card advantage, look at all the card manipulation David was able to look at here. You know, saw 2 cards he didn't like with Bobble, got to fetch them away, and for a card that costs 0 mana, you know, it's excellent.
Yeah.
The one thing you just got to always make sure that you do, and of course David will remember because he's a phenomenal player, you got to remember that Bobble triggers. That card gets a lot worse when you forget that.
Oh, for sure.
I'll tell you that.
Hey, hi. Don't see this card very early or very often this early.
Yep, and one thing about David's list that also, you know, is crazy to me and I didn't think we'd be seeing at all, 4 grinding stations.
Yeah.
All of them.
He's just like, I will find the grinding station.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, that screams to me David is trying to be the most all-in combo deck game 1 and then react to your opponent's game plan post-board, and
it's working out for him.
yeah, it's not how I would have built the deck, but I will never question David, and he's crushing this event. So
let's have a look. I want to see who his opponents have been throughout the rounds here while he's shuffling and doing stuff and things. Let's go see. All right. So, he faced Grinding Breach, Boris Energy, Eldrazi, Belcher, Storm, Ramp, Blink. So he's basically faced pretty much the gamut that you could.
Yeah, really only played the one bad matchup there. Round 1, the mirror, you know?
Yeah.
That's the only bad matchup
he's
for
dodging
grinding
for the rest of the time,
so, yeah, nice job.
Dip, dodge, dive, duck, and dodge. All right. What's happening here? Joel Doolittle. Tapping. Nope. Just deciding what he wants to deploy here.
Looking at our 2-drop here, you know, getting an Overlord down would be excellent. That'd be a good start.
Okay.
Okay, getting this down as well to be able to deal with one of the lands.
Yep.
Now you do get to destroy it, and then you get to search up.
Yep. The White Orchid Phantom. Or is that the Knight of White Orchid?
White Orchid Phantom.
That's the one,
Yep. So you do get to do a bit of a basic check when you're playing against anything when you're playing that card. And unlike, you know, I would say the more traditional list of playing just the one island, David did decide to play just the one mountain. But all this being said, if David has Underworld Breach here, it's just all wrapped up.
Yeah.
There's nothing that Joel could have. Even a Solitude doesn't really interact profitably. Now, there would be some scenario maybe where you couldn't turn off Metalcraft if the rest of David's hand is like completely blank, where Breach wouldn't be enough, but it would probably be enough.
Goes and finds a Sacred Foundry.
Okay.
Shocks that in.
And actually doesn't have another untapped blue source.
Flage.
There we go.
Donk. Gets that white Orchid Phantom off the board. Into the bin. Flage goes. That's a silly name. I'm sorry. Titan of Fire's Fury. Flage.
Gotta love it. And I mean, Flage looks great here. Oh, okay. Flage looks less great here.
Yes. Indeed. Flage looks great on Joel's board now.
Flage did look great. That's for sure. Now, that being said, the Emperor of the Bones doesn't really combo with the escape creatures that well.
Yeah.
You know, it does put them into play. They just go back to the graveyard.
It's got a finality counter on it.
Or,
though,
yeah,
doesn't it?
finale. So it'll just be exiled.
Yeah.
You know, it'll come back, deal 3, get exiled. But Emperor of the Bones would adapt, so you can pay 2 mana to essentially deal 5 damage.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. But getting rid of the Flage here,
Whoa.
where that Flage would probably have been active this turn,
Yeah.
is pretty big game.
It's Portable Hull takes care of the Emperor of Bones. Flage goes bye-bye. And Urza's Saga, the land here for David Inglis.
Okay. So pretty clear, no Underworld Breach available. But the one awkward thing about losing that Hollowed Fountain, looking at David's list, the only other blue source that you can actually fetch up is the Meticulous Archive.
Yeah.
So no other way to get blue mana, and there was no way to get untapped blue to cast Flage. Otherwise, I'm sure that's what we would have saw from David.
Spire of Industry can get
Yeah,
anything?
nothing you can fetch up,
Right,
though,
sure,
I should
sure,
say.
yeah.
Yeah.
You did say that.
Yeah.
I was just seeing if there's any other untapped sources available that he may have drawn.
And here's Recruiter to go find a creature to interact. Now, one of the cards that I'm the most afraid of when Recruiter lands is the Bogart Trawler, the Bajuka Bog with legs.
It skipped leg day, though. It's only a 3-1.
Yeah, there we go, there we go. So that one's a tricky one. The Aven Interrupter is also pretty nice. But once again, if David were to be able to just play Underworld Breach here, we're going to be all ready to go. But David does only have 2 cards available in hand.
I've never actually looked at the art of this card before. It's so funny.
The Trawler,
It's a little disturbing as well. It's a goblin, yeah.
it is a little disturbing.
It's like got a nest on its head and skew horns.
Just having a good old day.
Yeah.
Jumping through the swamp.
Hauling some lunch.
So
All right.
Saga is on Chapter 2 now, so the plan of just making constructs is always pretty strong. And Opal plus land. David only has 1 other card in hand. I'll bet I'll bet all my lunch money it's not Underworld Breach.
You get lunch money?
Yeah.
Arid Mesa. Jeremy Knoll just flashing some lunch money at us.
Just holding a paycheck over me. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okie dokie. What do we got here? Overlord of the Bailmark. Let's put some cards in the bin and bring something back. What do we want? It was another Emperor.
Good possibility there, as well as we'll see if Joel has an untapped land to just hold up Aven Interrupter. That is just a phenomenal card if you're already ahead on the battlefield, as you can interrupt Breach once, and then you do have to get rid of it. The static ability on Aven Interrupter is really annoying for Breach, as everything costs 2 extra, so you can't really combo off with that in play, but it is very easy to deal with. So Joel will have to get some pressure going first, and getting this Phantom to be able to deal with the Saga prevent whatever, prevents a construct. It'll prevent the construct next turn, and it'll prevent being able to get, a Spell Bomb, a Lantern, any card that will basically say just draw a card. And now there's only 1 basic, so not able to search up anything here from David's side.
Man, these mana bases are stretched
Yeah.
in this format.
Yep, 100%. Now we're going to see David get this Meticulous Archive, though, and have a look. Have 2 looks at a Breach or a Rumble. Rumble would be great, as then you have a lot of looks at it. So this is the turn for David. David really, really wants to be able to put Breach onto the battlefield. Otherwise, kind of running out of time, as Joel will be able to leave up that Aven Interrupter.
Yeah, bad news bears there indeed. in the form of that bird. No free spells that would deal with the Underworld Breach either.
If it's on top, the game's over.
Yeah.
I guess it could be a rumble where you're trying to get lucky into it, but outside of that, I don't think you're keeping Emery. You know, I don't think maybe you wouldn't keep a Savine's Reclamation. You'd rather that be in the graveyard. Not a lot of cards you would keep on top besides Rumble and Breach to me.
Looks like he's going to keep it.
If you're thinking about it, it's probably not one of those two cards.
Definitely not a snap keep on top of the library there, so but still getting a big think here. It's Emery, okay.
Okay. That is reasonable. The one thing that you consider with Emery is, first you could think maybe my Emery will live in a perfect world. I mean, this black-white deck has a lot of removal. I would assume it would die.
Yeah.
You know, but in a perfect world, it could flip over Savine's Reclamation, and then it'd be decent.
Yeah.
So I think it was worth to consider, but I agree. I would bin that as well.
What did you draw, David Inglis? If you spin it, does it give you more mana?
It does, yeah.
Oh.
The faster it goes, the more mana you add.
Sick.
Okay, so this looks like we are just digging for Savine's Reclamation here, a.k.a. we did not hit anything. And there's two breaches. Breach was going to be top deck there, so that is a bit of a tilt. This probably is saying that David has another Mox in hand, and then can untap this Grinding Station, add a mana with a Mox, presuming he has another one, mill it itself. You got 3 more looks at the Savine's Reclamation. Savine's, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right.
But I say Savine's Reclamation.
Yeah. And here we go. We're just going all in on trying to mill it. I don't think that was it.
Doesn't look like it. Oh, boy. All right, let's keep digging here for David Inglis.
Yeah.
No, he's just going to pause the turn. All right, so didn't find it. Isn't going to keep digging.
Yep, doesn't have another artifact to untap Grinding Station, so does not have the ability to kind of dig deeper. But I like David's sense of urgency there.
There's
like
3 in the bin. Jeez.
Obviously, that looks brutal when we know David's next draw was going to be Breach. But, of course, David doesn't know that. There was no information known. And now when Joel untaps, David knows about the Aven Interrupter. So I like going for it, you know?
So many cards.
Yeah. And now don't get me wrong. I think Joel can pretty safely just leave up that 3 mana for the rest of the game. And I think Joel will be able to pick up this game 1. But I still love that play of just
David.
trying to go for it.
Yeah. Aether Vial, the only play here from Joel, as you mentioned, keeping 3 mana up for Aven Interrupter should any shenanigans get loose. Where do we go? Rumbling.
Okay. There is the Rumble. So a pretty juicy Aven Interrupter target.
It's going to plot that spell, so.
Yep. So now it'll cost 2 to recast.
It's kind of like a Modern Text.
Yeah. It'll cost 2 to be cast, and then if you find Breach, you're able to get it going. But that was huge.
Nice.
So now it's going to be free, and there's no ephemerate shenanigans. That's why David did this right now. Aven Interrupter is just really, really obnoxious for the Breach deck to deal with. So now David next turn has 5 looks at either Savine's Reclamation, Breach, and I guess that's about it. But there's only 1 Breach left in the deck, so the 1 Breach and the 2 Savine's Reclamation are the outs here.
The 1 of Lightning Bolt to take care of the bird. Love it.
Yep. It's very flavorful. Bolting the bird here is
gotta
very
bolt
good.
the bird. So what's this, another Recruiter down?
Yep. Let's see. So there is the other Aven Interrupter. So if I'm David,
You gotta go for it now.
You got to go for it. So it looks like David's going to have the Rumble, so the 4 cards, plus the draw step, plus Grinding Station can sack the Mox Opal. So I think you have 8 looks at a Savine's Reclamation. If Joel doesn't have anything, I would think David is favored to win this game still to this point.
Yeah, grinding station, portable hole, rumble, Emery. Okay. What's coming to hand?
Emery's a few more looks.
Yeah.
So I would assume that, especially if David has a land, as then Emery is another 4 cards.
Sure.
You know, then you have 3 cards off a grinding station, 4 cards off Emery to find a 2-outer, the Savine's Reclamation. But if you don't have the land, you can consider the portable hole, but it's just hole or Emery here as the grinding station.
What would hole go after?
Yeah, it's just if you want to play a little bit longer game. Okay, grinding station. I love that it was like, all right, it's one of these 2 things, and David's like, oh, I'll pick the other thing. I guess, yeah, all you need is 1 land here, and you can cast the grinding station and sacrifice it, and it's 3 more looks.
Sure, yeah.
But the Emery is 4 looks, so it's contextual to what is left in David's hand.
He's being very, very cautious with his plays here.
Yep.
Just to make sure he's getting everything exactly lined up how he needs to before Joel untaps with an Aven Interrupter. So grinding station will enter. They'll both trigger each other.
Yep. Gonna sack the Opal, target himself. With the other grinding station, you can sack the other grinding station. Reclamation? No.
Wow, where is this card?
Looks like you have 3 more looks here. You have 6 more looks.
Yeah.
You have 9 more.
Oh boy.
You have 9 more looks if you want to get rid of the portable hole. It's honestly,
Where is this card?
it's honestly statistically, improbable that he wouldn't find it here.
Yeah.
He's got to have land 5 in hand, otherwise nothing would make sense. Yeah, there's the Opal.
Just 2 Savine's Reclamation.
So he has 9 more looks.
They are hiding.
Top 9 cards. One of them has to be a Savine's Reclamation. Otherwise, Joel is going to win, and David will have gotten very unlucky. Oh, my God. 6 more?
Come on.
This is amazing.
Come on. There it is.
2,
Come
3.
on. Now.
3 more looks.
Are you kidding me?
They're just both at the bottom.
I mean, probably at this rate.
Last 3 looks. I like going for it.
Come on.
1, 2. No.
Are you kidding me?
Real.
Son of a breach.
I would like to know how many cards
please look.
are left.
Please look. David, look. Look for it. Show us where it was. I need to know.
I think I'll be right back. I'm going to go give David a hug.
Yeah.
As that was
brutal.
Very improbable. And
Please flip him. I need to see where this card was.
We'll see if David adheres to the never look strategy.
Where was it? Bottom 3? Okay.
It would have been the next 3.
Jeez, like.
If there would have been one more artifact, he would have hit it. I mean, it looked like on a quick glance there was like 15 cards.
Yeah.
And to have a 2-outer still be down there, I mean, that's just some unreal bad luck. And, the more I watch how that game played out, the more the 2 Reclamation and 4 Grinding Station actually makes a lot of sense. It turns your grinding stations into real cards because eventually you will or should mill over the Reclamation, and then you can combo that way. So it makes your grinding stations from being dead draws to actually finding your combo pieces. So, yeah, really cool list from David, but that was extremely unlucky.
Very unlucky. You should have been running 4 Savine's Reclamations, Corey.
I guess so. So we'll take a look at David's sideboard to start here. So up against this deck, you can bring in lightning bolts. I guess it all depends on what the hate is here from Joel's side. So let's actually start with that. A lot of hate here.
Oh, yeah.
Another Aven Interrupter, Deafening Silence, 2 Stony Silences, a Fairy Macabre, Thought Seizes are coming in, Drannith Magistrate. Yeah, you can make a case for every card besides Plague Engineer.
Yeah.
Wrath of the Skies are great as well. So what I would be looking at from David's sideboard is I want to kill enchantments and I want to kill creatures.
Nature's Claim, Fire Spout, Unholy Heat, Lightning Bolt.
The Ray of Revelation looks pretty sweet, being able to flip over that card, unless, of course,
yeah. Flashback as well. That's
unless,
cool.
of course, it's at the bottom 15 cards of your library. Yeah, I'm going to be bringing in everything that deals 3 damage or more or says destroy target enchantment on them. And taking out Haywire Might actually seems like it would be good, but the only piece of hate it hits that it doesn't get shut off on because Stony Silence takes it out is the one of Deafening Silence and then the Aether Hub. So I'd probably be taking that out as well as the Pithing Needle. You can take out the Lanterns. Those aren't that great. But at the end of the day, Joel's deck does have to deploy these hate cards basically once a turn. And, David does have the ability to answer these threats pretty efficiently.
Oh, my goodness me. Well, friends, if you like what you see this weekend and you want to pick up some singles, be sure to go and check out the flash sale over on SCG's website. It ends on Monday, so if you want to pick up some singles, all purchases over $50 will get you free shipping. So go get your singles, start building your decks, and come hang out with us at the next event.
Yeah, pretty nice of SCG to extend this sale till after the event. You get to see what does well.
Yeah, and then
go
buy
some cards.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Speaking of the next event, it is going to be SCG Charlotte, Corey.
Yeah, Charlotte. It is going to be March 7th through the 9th, and this is Regional Championship number 2 here. The U.S. does have 2 of these events. As they were getting large. I think I remember the last one that was just one event. It was like 1,500 people. So, okay. DC was actually 1,800. So these tournaments were getting large in the U.S., so we got to split them apart. And now that's just really great for anyone that looks to play in these events, as you have 2 opportunities to make it to the World Championship, to win $20,000. So make sure and go get your double invite and be able to play in both of these regional championships.
There we take a look at the prize pool, $20,000 available for the winners, and finalist, well, the runner-up, I should say, gets $10,000.
Yeah.
And David Inglis is looking pretty good, for that top spot there, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely a good start. I mean, but with luck like that last game, wow. It's going to have to turn that around. But, at the same time, I'm sure when you're 8-0, there's probably been some moments that have went his way.
Yeah.
Or if you're in that spot, you just always get to say the classic, I'm never lucky.
What do you call it? Complaint equity at dinner?
Complaint equity, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, David just stocked it up here for dinner with his buddies for sure.
Well, I mean, he probably used his luck to dodge the grinding breach mirror since round 1, so.
That's true. That is true.
I'm hoping he hasn't used up all his luck, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, when you get to dodge your worst matchup besides round 1, you got to be feeling real good on the breach side. Meticulous
Archive here. Gonna take a look-ski on top of the library once David has shuffled up. I'm just waiting for these players to both be shuffling at the same time and then to shuffle their sleeves.
Together?
They've got this, they shuffle their decks together. Oh, can you imagine? What do you do then? Judge, we may have made an oopsie.
You call a judge, they separate it out from you, and then you shuffle up and continue. Don't ask me why I know that. It's for
have
sure
you
happened
done
to
it?
me. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Corey, no!
We had the same sleeves. It happens. It happens. Judges
beautiful.
Are your friend. They help you out.
Please tell me they got a chuckle out of it. Oh, man. Judges must deal with some really funny stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, shout out to the judges out there. You guys are awesome.
That's true.
Thank you for keeping things on the up and up here at these events. We could not do them without you.
No kidding. Some of the nicest people in the world, the judges that help run these events. That's for sure.
And again, we'll say, never be shy to call a judge.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for.
Absolutely. They are your friends.
Mm-hmm. And also you get to shout judge real loud.
That is fun.
That is fun. Yes.
Absolutely.
Urza Saga hits the board here for David Inglis. On the other side of things, the White Orchid Phantom says, no thank you. Get out of here. I don't want story time, Urza.
Yep. And I will say, looking at Joel's list is one of the most hateful decks towards the breach deck here. Like, you go up to 4 White Orchid Phantoms, you have all this hate of Stony Silence, Deafening Silence, Thoughtseize, Fairy Macabre, Draneth Magistrate, Wrath of the Skies, Aven Interrupter. So, like, if any deck is going to be able to put enough hate towards Breach,
I think
it's
he's
going to
got
be
it
Joel's
covered.
version for sure.
Yeah, this is nasty. I mean, you haven't said, like, every single card on the sideboard could be useful barring one.
Yeah. And, you know, when you look at sideboards from these high-level tournaments like regional championships, they usually paint a picture. Be like,
Yeah.
okay, what's your bad matchup? What are you prepared for? And looks like Joel wants to beat Breach for sure.
Oh, yes. Speaking of Breach, or grinding at least, Grinding Station hits the board here for David Inglis. And a White Orchid Phantom getting in for 2, taking David down to 15.
We'll see what the follow-up is. I saw for sure David had a Grape Shot and an Emery. David does play with his cards very
Grape
close
shot,
to
grape
his
shot.
chest, so tough to see, but wow.
Wowza, these guys. Now I understand why some players have basics in their sideboard.
Yeah. No, I mean, the second one here is amazing.
Frick.
This is also just a great card against Eldrazi, which I think can be a bit of a difficult matchup as well.
Yeah, killing all the lands that basically are Soul Rings on a stick. Well, I mean, Soul Ring is a Soul Ring on a stick.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean.
Yeah. I think just double checking here. I think David maybe wanted to do something before this land went to the graveyard.
It's targeting the archive, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so bye-bye Blue Source.
So let's see what we want to do first.
Okay.
I don't think it matters too much, the order of operations on that one.
Unholy Heat kills at least one of these attackers, so take some pressure off of David's life total for the time being.
Yep. And normally when Joel will play lands, when anyone plays these double-face cards, it doesn't really matter as it's a land, but in Joel's deck, being able to flicker wisp
Yeah.
your own lands can actually really matter. So that was a Witch Enchanter that was just put down, so something to keep in mind that could get flicker wisp
Yeah.
onto the battlefield at any point.
Witch Enchanter? Disenchanter.
This one, yes. Okay.
Rumble, Bobble, Breach.
Looks like that was put to the guard. I bet we're going to see a Breach here.
Could well be, Corey.
And we'll see.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The only
6,
thing
7,
valuable
8.
right now that Joel can have is the Fairy Macabre. But if Fairy Macabre hits the 2 zeros here, this could be bad news bears. If David just has another 0-drop, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah?
But if he doesn't, that just
Jeez.
countered a Breach.
Does he?
I don't think
I
he
don't
does.
think he does. I think he's got another Unholy Heat in hand.
Oof.
Wow, Joel, you are ruthless, bro.
Yeah. I wonder if there was any... I didn't see exactly what David had in the yard, but if you had a 0-drop already,
Yeah.
one way you can kind of play around that is, you know, breaching and then bringing back a 0-drop. I'm not sure if it was there or not, though. Jeez. This has just been a beating
Yeah.
so far. Like,
He's not pulling any punches
yeah.
here.
And to be fair, David statistically should have won game one. You
Yes.
know, that was very
Yeah.
unlucky to not be able to hit it there, but this game's just looking absolutely
yeah.
brutal. And if David's going to look at this deck, you know, open deck list, you're going to look at the main deck of this and be like, okay, this is fine. I can deal with this. And then you look at the sideboard and
Yeah.
go, oh, no, I
Yeah.
better win game one. As the post-board game definitely flips the percentages here in favor of Joel for sure.
Jeez, that is a beating. So now 2 critters on board here. David is tapped out, doesn't have anything to do really. Aven Interrupter and White Orchid Phantom on the board. And David Inglis is down to 9.
Yep, down to 9, and now this is the spot where you just think Joel is going to have a hard time losing.
Boy.
When you have pressure on the battlefield and
He's
then
just
you
gonna
can interact.
Blow
Like,
up his lands again.
Oh,
He's just stone
man.
raining on these creatures.
stop, Joel. Leave him
Stop!
alone. He's already
He's
dead.
already dead. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, if there's no land here, it's basically GG.
That's
So
Windswept Heath.
there is a land, so you can Heath for another land and then Rumble if you wanted to, but looks like David is valuing keeping that land around to be able to surveil into a breach, something like that.
Down to 3.
But the problem is, breaching with the Aven Interrupter in play still does not work out the way you want it to.
This pesky guy.
Oh, God.
Graveyards and exile. 2 more to cost.
Oh, man.
There's the Bogart Trawler. Bajuka Bog a stick, he said. No, what? Bajuka Bog with legs?
Yeah, Bajuka Bog with legs. And, wow, just, this game's just been a beating.
Yeah. This has been hard to watch, honestly.
This has been hard to watch.
Sorry, David.
Just
Jeez.
such bad luck in the last game to just
flip.
Not really looking close so far.
Joel just had every single answer. Whatever David deployed, Joel had the answer for.
Now, if we're able to find a land or a 0-drop or something, we can do some nice work where we can grape shot. Now, this rumble this is why David waited here, because now you can rumble into an untapped red source. Didn't find it.
Nope.
An untapped red source, which then could grape shot away the Aven Interrupter, but without having that there, just absolutely nothing went right for David this game.
That was a rough way to end his day. Otherwise, spotless day for David Inglis, and he's going to be a little bit bummed about that, I imagine.
Yeah.